If our military men and women of the United States can live in air-conditioned tents in other countries to protect our country, then inmates or illegal immigrants incarcerated at Alligator Alcatraz can certainly live in air-conditioned tents at the repurposed airport in Okeechobee, Florida. Hi, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe if you like this video. I want to talk about not only how this got put together, but the requirements to be a correctional officer and work at Alligator Alcatraz, a 400 security person unit at this moment, 400 security personnel, and also what concerns we have for officer safety on a place that was put together just in 8 days. We have to remember about officer safety and public safety, the safety of the public, to make sure none of these criminals escape. Who are the criminals? Well, they're made up of MS-13 who come into our country, the most deadliest gang members in the world. They're made up of terrorists. They're made up of other illegal immigrants who have raped, murdered our people, our women, our children. Many have been caught involved in child trafficking rings here in our country. But yet we have people crying about the concerns of the comfort of these criminals. Well, yes, we have a duty to provide care, custody, and control for our incarcerated. They will be living in air-conditioned tents. They will be living and receiving 3 meals a day and medical triage and medical care. They will be getting treated better than many of our military personnel have over the centuries fighting for the freedom of our country. Yet these people have committed crimes against the United States and against the people of our country. So please, don't be so offended. If you're that easily offended, you're definitely going to be offended by the rest of this video. So you may want to leave now. What I want to talk about is safety concerns, obviously. But first, let's talk about what it takes to be an officer at the new Alligator Alcatraz. Okay, here's some documents that I'm going to show you. Location, as I said, is Okeechobee, Florida, down in the Everglades of Florida. I've been there. The pay is $26 per hour, but because of the long hours you're going to work and the overtime pay, they estimate $94,400 a year is what an officer can make. Work schedule is 60 hours a week, 5 days a week, 12-hour shifts, including 20 hours of overtime pay. So you're going to get overtime pay. Must be willing to work any and all assigned shifts, including nights, weekends, and holidays. Lodging on-site in shared trailers with private rooms. Must be flexible. Okay? You have to stay at the work site during your scheduled work days. You can't leave. On your days off and unscheduled work days, you are allowed to leave the site and go about and do what you wish. You will have Wi-Fi available, and travel, flights, and meals are provided to those who are accepted to work on the 400-person security team. You'll get health insurance and a 401k benefit. The dress code. Uniforms will be provided, however, they suggest you bring khaki pants, gray polo shirts, and black boots in case your uniform size is not available. Also, bring a raincoat. Folks, you're in Florida. in the summer down in the Everglades. It's going to be hot and it's going to rain probably almost every day. I'm here in Central Florida and it's rained every day since Tuesday, 4 days straight now at my house. Just a little update on what you need to do. Now, I've talked to some of my correctional officer buddies, and here's some things they said. Number one, they'd like to work there. I wouldn't mind going down there and working. I've been retired since 2018, but I think I'm fit enough to go do it. But some of the comments are, this would be a great job for a single man or woman, because obviously you're going to be away from your family for a while. You saw it says you have to remain on site until your days off, and then you're allowed to leave and go places. If you're a single man or woman, and another thing they requested is 3 years correctional experience. Some people have said, well, what's the experience? Well, you're not going to an academy before you work here. They're hiring people with prior correctional experience, looking for 3 years minimum. That's very important that I get that in there. But if you're single, man, you could go over there and rack up some money. They're feeding you and paying for everything. If you could do a year or two there, I don't know how long this will be here. It's called a temporary immigration holding center. I don't know what temporary means or how long, but for the time it's here, you could save a lot of money by working there. A lot of people say they wouldn't work there. They'd be away from their family for too long periods of time. I'm sure there are some people that are married that will talk to their spouse and they'll have an agreement to go work there, but it looks like a single person's paradise to me anyway. Where are the officers coming from? Well, Florida has asked their certified correctional officers to please come and work there. Who is involved in this? Well, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has approved the plan to repurpose this airport, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, is funding a significant portion of the cost of this. Of course, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is backing it fully. The Republican Party has also fundraised for the project, promoting the facility. Again, as you know, it's located in Florida Everglades, known for its alligators and difficult terrain. Anyone familiar with Florida knows Hendry Correctional Institution is not far from there. And I could tell you a quick story from personal experience. Not only me, but a couple of other prison inspectors had cases where the inmates escaped from Hendry Correctional Institution. It's very close to the Everglades. And the inmates were recaptured pretty quickly because of the terrain. And a couple of the inmates that came back on their own and says, hey, that's too much. I've been bitten up by so many insects. I had no food or water, and I just looked like I was going in circles. I couldn't find my way back. This is true stories, folks. That's how the terrain is down there. Very tough, and I can speak from personal experience from interviewing inmates who escaped and were either recaptured or just gave up, saying, hey, that terrain down there was too much for me. I couldn't deal with it. And they were just glad to be back at the prison, believe it or not, to get a hot shower, medical treatment, and 3 meals a day. You know, but we're so cruel to these inmates. The terrain is tough, folks. It's a temporary detention center for migrants intended to be secure and remote location. Talking about security, we have to make sure that there's officer safety and that there is safety for the public. The people living around that area. Yes, there are people living in the Everglades, folks. There are small communities. There's Native Americans there. There's small farming communities there. Yes, sugarcane communities around with farmers. And we must protect them. That is number one. Protect them and officer safety. Now, water and sewage is going to be a problem. They're going to have to bring in water, and they're going to have to take out sewage. So they'll set up a latrines for everyone to use, bathrooms. Our military folks do this all the time, having to live out in the field with latrines, as we call them. So please don't feel sorry for the people that are going to be incarcerated here. Our military folks deal with this quite often. And they will use the latrines, and they'll be pumped, and the sewage will be driven out of the area. Water will be brought in, of course, potable water. Potable meaning good to drink. Water for the staff and the incarcerated. It was built in 10 days, over 10 miles. As I said, 400 security personnel. They will have a capacity of 3,000 inmates to start, expanding by 500 at a time, and ending with a 5,000 inmate capacity facility is the plan here, folks. Now, policies and procedures had to be thrown together quickly, and I sure hope they were thrown together quickly. I mean, proficiently. They were thrown together quickly, I'm sure. Proficiently is the word I'm looking at. The policies and procedures for the officers to run the facility correctly. Post orders had to be written. I hope. Governor DeSantis, I'm asking you and anyone involved in this project, Homeland Security, have you got your policies and procedures together? Have you got your post orders together? Very importantly, have you got your emergency evacuation plans together? Well, I would assume that this is done, and I know what assuming means. It makes an ass out of you and me, but I'm telling you, they have to have these things done prior to opening up the facility, and I'm sure they are done. If someone out there knows, get me the answer. I don't know the answer to that. Where policies and procedures put together specifically for this facility and the area it's in the Everglades, specifically emergency evacuation plans for this facility in this area, and specifically officer safety procedures. It's a new facility with dangerous people. You have terrorists. You have MS-13. You have criminal, illegal aliens in this facility. And guess what, folks? You want to cry about their safety. How about the safety of their victims? They will cut your throat in a heartbeat. I have no other way to put it. They will. Most of them will cut your throat in a heartbeat. Not all of them, I'm sure. You have to realize what we're dealing with here, folks. We're dealing with a threat to the United States of America. We're dealing with people that will harm your family, will rape your wife and daughters, will kill your sons, or send your sons and daughters off to a sex slave drive. And, you know, there's going to be people out there go, oh, you're full of it, man. You're full of it. No, I know this is going on. We all know this is going on out there deep in our hearts. It's just that there's a certain number of people out there that just for some reason are blinded by the light and have tunnel vision and do not want to see how important it is to protect our country, to protect our families and our citizens. Okay? If you don't like what I'm saying, unsubscribe, don't subscribe. It's no sweat off me. I don't do this for money. My channel is not a money channel. There's a little button I can push to click for money. Well, I don't need the $40 a month that my channel would bring in, okay, folks? This is just me talking with my 5,300 subscribers, faithful subscribers. Thank you, folks, by the way, for subscribing. This is something that you're going to see for a while. We've finally taken action on removing hardened criminals from other countries illegally entering our country. And this is going to have to happen and be done. What I like about using this airport facility is you have an airstrip there, which makes it real nice to evacuate or remove these illegal aliens from our country and get them back where they belong, to the country they came from. So A little bit about Alligator Alcatraz and my thoughts. I have no problem with it. It's air conditioned. They'll be fed 3 meals a day. They will receive medical treatment when they need it. Hey, good deal for a criminal, huh? Thanks for watching. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.